Hi everybody, this is a red and white Arcane Bombardment deck that wants to copy and reuse all of our spells. We've got 4 copies of Bombardment up here to go along with 1 Chandra Hope's Beacon. These kind of fill the same slot, but it's nice to have a little bit of diversity of threats sometimes. Now, this deck was kind of inspired by Surge of Salvation, so we're trying 2 copies in here. Now, this fills the role of something like Tamiyo's Safekeeping would in green, but with the big upside of we don't have to go into green. White is one of the strongest colors that we can pair with red, especially in kind of a control build, which is usually what we go for with Bombardment. We kind of have to survive long enough to play our expensive enchantment, and so that usually lends itself to a control strategy. So this card is good at protecting our permanents and protecting creatures from some damage, but it's not necessarily useful all the time. You can fire it off with no targets on board and no threats coming your way, but it doesn't really affect the board a whole lot. Very reactive. So to go along with this, we've got Elspeth Smite and Play with Fire, some very early interaction for our opponent's stuff. Lightning Strike, we've got some Abrade and some Destroy Evil. I was testing this out a little bit on the last live stream we did, and we realized pretty quickly we had no enchantment or artifact removal in here, so these kind of serve as double duty, let us take care of some different things. We've got 4 Union of the Third Path, of course, because we're in white. 2 Brotherhood's End as some more artifact destruction and to survive the early game. 2 copies of the Wandering Emperor because, as you'll see, we do want a few other permanents besides just Bombardment, and the ability to make creatures is going to be really nice for us as we play 2 copies of Invoke Justice. Now, this is great to get back our Bombardment, to get back our Planeswalkers, but we would like to have something in play to put all these counters on, and so we could probably add maybe a couple more token producers into this deck, just so that by the time we cast this on turn 5, we might have a token or something on board where we can stack up all these counters. Of course, we're running 4 Big Score and then 2 copies of Burn Down the House to go with 3 copies of Sunfall. Being able to exile things, really nice in the environment now as I see lots of stuff that keeps wanting to come back from the graveyard and that I just want gone. And we're testing out 1 Eternal Wanderer, which I don't think I've put in a Bombardment deck yet, but it makes tokens, can clear a board, and is something else that we can get back with Invoke Justice. Now, in some of these games, you'll see I've got a Mycosynth Gardens in the deck. Not sure what I was thinking there, but I think I was thinking it could copy opponent's artifacts. It can't. It can only copy our artifacts. So I took that out here, and we're adding an extra copy of Mirrex instead, just to give us an extra token and potentially put some counters on it with Invoke Justice. So let's get over and see some games with this deck on the ranked standard ladder. I'll be with you for commentary, of course, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right, this looks acceptable. Got a big score here, got Abrade and Lightning Strike. See what we can do in this Boros Arcane Bombardment build. All right, well, a good test. We're starting right off against Mono Red. Gonna lead off with Battlefield Forge. Let's go for Lightning Strike here. Get that into the graveyard early for Bombardment's sake. Keep up Abrade maybe for next turn as we probably lay Jetmir's Garden next. Opponent with a Phoenix Chick taking us to 18. Yep, let's just pass it on back. We've got Abrade leading up into big score area next turn. Yep, Kumano, pretty standard mono red stuff here from the opponent. Chick, we can take a hit from that, drop down to 16. Oh, nothing else from the opponent. Well, then in that case, let's Abrade the Chick. No other creatures on board, only Kumano coming up next turn. And I think we're going to pass here. We've got Surge of Salvation. Really wanted to try this card out, especially against mono red. The thing about it is, it gives us hexproof, which is nice against burn. But we often don't have too many creatures on board for it to be really effective, and it doesn't save us from attacking creature damage, which is really one of the bigger sources of damage from a mono red deck. All right. Yep, we'll take 3 from this vampire. Let's go big score. We'll discard Eiganjo. That way, if we do draw an untapped land... Ooh, we do not. We can bombardment right away. There's a tap land. Let's pass. We can keep up the Wandering Emperor and possibly exile this vampire for a couple of extra life. And then we'll be nicely set up to do Arcane Bombardment into Surge of Salvation on a future turn. If we time it right, we might even be able to get a token creature down, which we can protect with Surge of Salvation, since red really doesn't have a way to get rid of bombardment, but they certainly have burn for our planeswalkers and our creatures. Opponent has something holding priority here. Wandering Emperor going to come down for us. We're going to exile big vampire over there. And almost any burn spell will take out the Wandering Emperor for us at this point.
You are not much of a roadblock.
Yep, opponent definitely has something. Okay, they've got Play with Fire for the Emperor. That's fine. We do run a few copies of Invoke Justice in here to get that back with later on. But the star of the show here is going to be Arcane Bombardment for... Oh, wow. Union of Third Path is the draw for us. Well, this is a great window to get down Arcane Bombardment. We can surge and try to pick up something at random from the graveyard, and then we'll have either Union or Brotherhood's End next turn to deal with whatever's on board here. Opponent has a Reckless Impulse. We see a Play with Fire. Let's surge. We were going to surge anyway, but this at least counters the Play with Fire by giving us Hexproof. We pick up Abrade. We'll point that at the Kumano Etching. All right, Kumano down. We become Hexproof. Play with Fire, no legal targets, so nothing there. An extra bombardment for us. Well, no guaranteed card draw. I think we're just going to pass it over here. Union is so good. We're going to try to cast this on our opponent's turn, even if that means we miss a trigger on our own turn. Brotherhood's End, still good against mono red. All right, let's Union in response to this Lightning Strike. We get big score. Let's discard Bombardment to that. We'll cast Abrade on the Swift Spear. All right, Swift Spear down. Big Score gets us a couple of treasures. A second Union from Big Score. And I was going to say, yep, that should do it against mono red. Good game. All right, let's see. This should be okay. Would rather not have both legendary lands in our opener, but, you know, it could be worse. We have the option for Brotherhood's End right on turn 3 if we need it. Otherwise, we're set up to cast pretty much everything else in this deck. Both legendaries down by turn 2, not something I see every day. Opponent on something mono green, which is interesting. No plays on turn 2 from them. So this could be a very large creature strategy. And Invoke Justice, our draw there. A little bit difficult for us to cast right now. We might have to Big Score into it. We'll see how we draw here. And I think we might as well Union of the Third Path. We see a second Big Score, Lightning Strike, our draw. Well, any land would have been fantastic right there, but we got to wait it out a little more. Probably going to play with fire here. See if we can't scry into something on the top. Opponent with the Invasion of Zendikar, clearly trying to ramp into something big. Going to have to keep an eye out for Titan of Industry. Okay, it's an untapped land. At this point, I'll take it. We will play our planes, and try to big score here into Bombardment, or at least into Invoke Justice. Let's see what they've got for us here. Topiary Stomper, okay, continuing on with the ramp strategy. So what can we reasonably expect from this deck? Probably Titan of Industry, Vorinclex. That's big score here. We pick up a Chandra and a Lightning Strike. Nice untapped land off the top, which is great. Yeah, Chandra kind of changes the game a little bit here. So let's play Chandra. We're gonna do a little damage here. So this ability furthers our game plan. We can burn the opponent out in the right situation, but most importantly, we're keeping the board clear, which keeps Chandra safe. So they have to have a haste creature right now to take out Chandra. And even if they do, we do have Invoke Justice potentially to bring her back. So Vorinclex not hasty in this inclination. This version just grabs a couple of forests out of the deck and not able to flip that over until at least next turn. So we got a little time here. Okay, untapped land. I think, this is tricky. Chandra provides us a lot of options. We're going to add mana with Chandra. Yeah, I think if we go just mostly red, I think is what we need. We're going to do Bombardment. We can double up a Lightning Strike and then pick up something with Bombardment, hopefully, to get us some kind of instant that we can play next turn. Huh. Alright, didn't quite work out that way. I guess we could Brotherhood's End just in case they have a pump spell. Of course, that takes out our Chandra, but... Alright, bit of a miscalculation there, but we do have Bombardment online. We do have Invoke Justice to bring her back. Awaken the Woods from the opponent. All out on the ramp here. They do know we have Brotherhood's End under Bombardment here. Okay, well, Invoke Justice. Let's get Chandra target us. Nowhere to put those counters, but we get a free Brotherhood's End out of the deal. And I think that happens before Chandra even comes into play. So we'll hit our opponent with Lightning Strike, Brotherhood's End all these tokens away. Invoke Chandra right back onto the battlefield. Let's +2 Chandra here. We've already cast our spell, so we're just going to kind of hang tight. And we've got enough mana to Lightning Strike on our opponent's turn. All right. Opponent with Nissa Ascended Animist. Full price version here. That's going to allow them to take out Bombardment or make a big token if they want to. They do have the ability to get rid of Bombardment, but we're going to double up this Lightning Strike in response. I mean, that's 6 damage. That's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, we get some more. Is this enough? We're going to point everything at our opponent here. This is not a huge threat on her own. Union is fine on the top. Yeah, and Lightning Strike is enough. Wow. All right, good game. All right, we're going to keep this. Not as much early action as I'd prefer. But we'll start off with this Jetmir's Garden. Looks like we're going to be ready to go on turn 3. We draw the second Bombardment. Let's get both of these gardens down. Normally I'd hold on to a garden if we start picking up untapped lands off the top, just so we can cycle it away later, but this seems okay. Got the option here to Union. We'll probably just fire it off just to make sure we've got a spell in the graveyard for when we do land Bombardment. Opponent looks to be on mono white with a Mirrex over there. So we draw Invoke Justice off the top. Well, given our white sources on board, we may want to just fire off the Wandering Emperor here Even if our opponent's got removal for it, we do have Invoke Justice as soon as next turn. Do we do it now? Nah, let's just take the hit. We haven't seen a Skrelv's Hive or anything like that. Let's go Wandering Emperor at the end of the turn instead. And opponent's got something. Maybe that's just the Mirrex holding priority, hard to say. Soul Partition, okay. Let's make a token in response to that. Wanderer gonna have to come back later on. And they've got the March for the token that we made. Okay, so that means we can't get back the Wanderer with Invoke Justice, just have to pass it back here. Got a big score online. Gonna be taking another damage here, getting up to 2 poison counters. Alright, nothing else from the opponent. Great opportunity to big score. Let's discard Bombardment. We draw land and Abrade. Opponent activates Mirrex here at the end of their turn. Mysteriously, we're going to play Sundown Pass, go right into Bombardment, and I think hold up Abrade for their turn. Could fire it off now, but odds of us picking up big score and something else to do feels like it's not that high. They've got Adeline, of course. So 3 tokens coming our way. We're going to hit... Let's hit a Might with an Abrade just to keep the poison a little bit low. Bombardment picks up. Big score. We'll discard this extra planes. And we got an Elspeth Smite. Plus an extra bombardment. All right. Well, we're at 25. I think we can take the damage. Up to 3 poison counters. Still no sign of a hive from the opponent, so I think being at 3 or higher is okay. And I think if we Brotherhood's End here, it's going to at least clear the tokens. We can Union. And I think big score also. We'll get rid of this other bombardment. See what we can pick up here. Excellent. So tokens are gone. I think we can just fire off this extra Brotherhood's End just to get rid of Adeline. We've got lots of instants available for our opponent's turn. Got this Surge of Salvation as well. So it's not, we're not going to get the bonus of playing against a black or red player. Yeah, let's just Abrade. I think we can target the treasure that we used to pay for the Abrade and still have it count for bombardment's sake. Yeah, I don't think bombardment cares whether the spell has a legal target as it resolves. It just needs something to be cast. All right, let's draw with Union and draw with big score. We'll discard Sunfall here. Opponent not showing a really heavy creature strategy. We see both versions of the Wanderer and a copy of Eiganjo. All right, well, sitting at a healthy 35 life. Let's see if we can't flip over into finishing this game. Let's cast the Eternal Wanderer. Let's make a double strikey token.
We can win this together.
And yeah, thanks to all these treasures, 7 mana left over. I think we can just pass it on over here. Option to flash in the Wanderer or Surge if we really need some spells. Opponent's going to Ossification. We'll let that come into play. As the trigger goes on the stack, though, Surge of Salvation is going to keep, I mean, pretty much everybody safe. As we pick up a Sunfall there. All right, we're just going to do the draw with Union and big score, discarding Eiganjo. No reason for the board wipes right now. Another Invoke and a Mirrex. Also a Sokenzan. Surge of Salvation goes off. Everybody's got hexproof. Ossification is nullified. And they trigger Mirrex, making a token. Well, let's cast the other Wanderer that we've got. Making another token. Land on the draw. Well, let's make another double strikey Samurai. And we will put a counter on the Samurai that can attack that's got double strike. Let's see, looking down here, some okay things to do. We're going to play Mirrex. Going to play Invoke Justice, mostly for the counters that we can put on our existing creatures. Might as well grab a second Bombardment. Oh, wow. Abrade here. We're just going to destroy this Might. It's an artifact. Going to cast Union and big score. We're going to pitch this Battlefield Forge. Plenty of mana at this point. We draw Mycosynth Gardens, destroy evil, a spare land, Invoke Justice. We get 4 counters. We're going to put them all on the double strikey Samurai that can attack. And go attacking. First strike in. Bringing our opponent down to 4. And an Invoke Justice set up for next turn if we need it. Okay, opponent's got to lay down arms for the big Samurai. It brings us to a slight life total of 51. Lay down arms for another one. Up to 54. Ossification coming down here. Trigger goes on the stack, looking to target the big Wanderer. Well, let's destroy evil. We're going to target their Ossification. Even if we don't pick up Surge, it's still going to nullify that effect. We do pick up Surge anyway. Yeah, might as well. We'll Surge, we'll Union, and big score. Keep the cards coming. No need to do any of this other stuff. There's Chandra. Planeswalker party here. Destroy evil gets rid of Ossification, so that even though it targets the Wanderer, just stays into play. And yep, opponent wraps it up. Good game. All right, a little heavy on the red mana there. Ooh, still nothing but red. I think we can keep this, though. Going to put back Invoke Justice. Really no chance of us casting that this game unless we get real lucky on the treasures. But all we need is 1 white mana. We can Union and hopefully start drawing into some other things. That's a great draw. Big score. Going to ensure we can cast at least Bombardment on time, and hopefully draw into a way to cast the rest of our white spells. Opponent's got a Bitter Reunion for us. Looks like they're on at least red and white, possibly a little more. They discarded... That was a Vampire's Vengeance. Okay, so usually Bitter Reunion signals some reanimator, like a Phyrexian Portal, Cityscape Leveler kind of thing. Discards another Jetmir's Garden to another Bitter Reunion. Wow. All right, well, we're still drawing some lands. We are at big score territory right now. Actually, this Abrade could come in handy if they are on the big artifact strategy. Ooh, there we go. Big score here. Discards Phyrexian Portal for the opponent. Well, good news for us. We don't have a lot that the portal can bring back. So unless they've got some good stuff hiding in their own deck, we know we're not going to be contributing to their win condition very much at all. All right, we can get Bombardment down here, and we can keep up Surge. Let's see. If they can get a Leveler out now, that's one way that they can deal with our permanents. And we can at least Surge in response to that. Let's see what they got here. Big score. Looks like a land discarded. Yep, just Portal down there. Okay, well, we'll just go to our turn here. Be great to have both Chandra and Bombardment down. We just have Big Score, Sunfall, and Union down there. Yeah, I think if we can get Chandra down now, we might as well try. And if we add mana... I think they had enough mana to get rid of Bombardment last turn. Let's just activate this with an Abrade. We can double it up, at least take out some of those treasures. And if they do have Leveler in the future, they draw into it, we can pick up Abrade from the yard. Yeah, it may not be the wisest course, but we do at least have... Oh, good, we pick up Big Score. I was going to say, we do have 1 mana to cast Surge if they do still have something. All right, Abrade and Destroy Evil the draw. All right, passing it on over to the opponent. All right, untap mana, so that's enough for a Leveler. Volcanic Spite, though, goes at Chandra. That's fine.
You can't snuff my flames.
As long as she's here, I don't really care how much loyalty she has. We really want her for just all the things that she can do. All right, here we go. So opponent's got Invoke Justice for a portal. No effect on the board, no creatures from anybody. Well, let's Abrade just to get rid of that. And Chandra's going to double that up. We can point the second copy at a treasure. Looks like Arcane Bombardment picks up a Union and a Big Score. We can discard Destroy Evil. At this point, I don't think the bitter reunions matter too much. And finally, Portal goes away. All right, back to us now. Let's add some mana with Chandra. Let's get a couple of copies of Big Score. I'll discard this Plains. Great spell to double up with Chandra. Only having to pay the discard cost once is phenomenal. Let's Union. We can Big Score again. No need to Sunfall. No creatures on board. We get to burn down the house. That's going to be great if we can double that up. Oh, yeah. 2 copies of it. Second Surge. I mean, I think it's worth it to just do one of these now. We can do the second one next turn. Gotta start finishing this game off before the opponent really gets into all of the big things that they're no doubt trying to reanimate with that deck of theirs. Cabaretti Courtyard coming down. All right. Opponent's got Invasion of Mercadia. Let's keep our vowel sound straight. I've tried this in a few bombardment decks before, actually. It's not terrible, but when we have things like Thrill of Possibility, might as well put Thrill in there so we can keep on activating bombardment. So they've got Lay Down Arms for one of the devils, meaning we get no trigger, and they've got Restoration here, so that's going to find them a Plains. Not sure if they have any permanents to bring back with that other than lands, though. All right, we're sitting on 9 treasures. We might as well do something now. Let's go Wandering Emperor. And we'll make a Samurai. It's pretty clear we're going to win this game through creature tokens. Let's cycle away this garden. Still tons of mana. Mycosynth Gardens here. Not the most useful, but we'll have to take that out in the future. Let's add some mana with Chandra. Really want to double up this burn down the house. Great. Devils aplenty. Lots of card draw under bombardment. Let's pitch some extra land here. We'll do a Union. One big score seems like enough. Drawing lots of lands. All right, so we've got 9 devils and a samurai on board. Let's keep the tokens coming with the wanderer. We'll go to attacks. All right, bringing our opponent down to 8. And let's just Brotherhood's End. They're tapped out. Let's point all of these devil triggers at the opponent's face. Finish this thing now, rather than let them exile this with a potential Sunfall on their turn. And I think we've got enough here. Looks like 8 triggers, and yep, that should do it. All right, good game. All right, let's see. I think we can keep this. Oh, we can definitely keep this now. Let's go Jetmir's Garden to start us off. And we've got Union and Big Score to get us into the late game with all the colors that we need. Opponent's starting off stronger with a Grafted Butcher here. Restoration of Eiganjo from the opponent. Very interesting. Huh. Okay, so the Butcher they can bring back from the grave. However, Elspeth's Smite exiles the creature that it hits. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's play land number 3. Lots of options for removal, or we can just Union at the end of this turn. Okay, opponent has a second Butcher, and they're just going to put that into play with the Restoration's ability. Ooh, Wedding Announcement. Okay, that's also pretty strong. And a Skrelv. All right, let's go Destroy Evil on the announcement. Skrelv, unfortunately, is down on the battlefield. All right. Let's pass it on back. Skrelv can be annoying if we've got a lot of targeted removal. Even, I mean, burn down the house. Skrelv can save something from that. So let's just take this damage. Opponent with a second Restoration. We may have to do a little digging here. Let's go Big Score. We're going to pitch Bombardment here. Oh, there's a Sunfall. Yay, okay. All right, Jetmir's Garden. All right, we're going to do... Yeah, we're going to do Sunfall here. Bear with me. We're going to do Sunfall. That exiles the Butcher, which they're threatening to get back anyway. If there's a way we can produce or even flip this Incubator token, we can actually put these counters from Invoke Justice on that. Let's see. Is there a good way we can do that? Invoke. We'll have... Yeah, we should have 2 spare mana. All right, so let's invoke... Oh, sorry. Let's incubate now. We're going to transform this token. Invoke Justice. Targeting Bombardment. And us. So if this survives, that'll turn this token into a 7/7. If the opponent doesn't have removal for it. What's that last card? Okay. Must have just been the Mirrex holding up priority for our opponent there. So Restoration's going to transform. We've got a 7/7 on board. Bombardment ready to go. Opponent gets in with a Might token, brings us to 2 poison counters. We draw Surge of Salvation. Taking a look at the yard here. All right. Well, let's just hammer away with this Incubator token, see what they do. Okay, they block. Well, at least that gets rid of the Architect, which is threatening to just make endless chump blockers. And then what we can do, we can Brotherhood's End on damage, and then our token will survive. They can still make a Might token on their turn, but it's not able to block. And I think we might be able to ride this incubator token to victory here. Yep, opponent makes a might. Let's pass. We can activate bombardment on the opponent's turn with one of these instants. Okay, Skrelv's Hive, but those can't block either if I remember correctly. However, they do get lifelink if this hits us. All right, let's Union. Sunfall. Yeah, okay. No good options here. All right, just a land, the draw, and a depopulate. Okay. All right, so opponent threatening to hit us with some lifelinky tokens for the rest of the game with this enchantment. Some useful things in our grave, but we're just going to pass it back here. Try to control the token population and see if we can't rebuild. All right, we're going to lightning strike the face. That's going to trigger bombardment. We're going to cast Union. We're going to cast Sunfall to get rid of this might. Union gives us a land, and opponents just had enough. All right, good game.